Almost every video game I know has roads, but how often do we get to influence these roads? Have a look at Civilization. You make settlers, build cities, and connect them using trade routes, but you don't get to build the roads. That happens automatically when the caravan reaches its destination. And this has been the case since the first release of Civilization in 1991. Open world role-playing games also have roads, and they clearly tell you where to go, but do you really make an impact on the roads when you complete the quests? Now, there are some games that deal with roads in video games successfully. Mini Motorways. You've probably heard of it before. It's a puzzle game where you make the roads for the cars to go to work. Naturally, any game in the city building genre also needs to have roads, otherwise the whole premise of the game would collapse. So this is the plan. We're going to make a casual game about connecting roads, and I'm going to make this a little interesting by using a tile set. So then, let's make a game about tiles and roads. Just like the Romans, our roads must start from and lead to somewhere. This little red roof house will be our very own Rome. Building roads, however, was going to be a lot harder. The goal is rather simple. I want you to be able to place roads, or tiles in this case, as freely as you want, with only restrictions being proximity. Tiles must be placed on the north, south, west, or east of another tile, and since we already have our starting tile, this automatically tells you what you can and cannot do. The difficult bit is making sure that the tiles you place make sense. The last thing you want is people to walk out of the house and fall straight into the ocean. To solve this little conundrum, we have set placement rules for every single tile in the game. We can do this by looking at each face of the tile and figuring out if the corners match the terrain. In this case, we have grass corners with a road in the middle, and we can try to place a tile on the side of the house. It's the same grass corners, but no road. So we can get a field or a road that cannot face the house. With these rules, we have invented the Roman Empire. Except there's one thing missing. We have the starting point and the roads, but we don't have the destination. What we can do is every once in a while, we can give the player the ability to place endpoints, like a castle, a city, a farm, or a hut. Of course, when you place these endpoints, something needs to happen. So I've added these little guys that bounce around from the house to the endpoints, each with their own different hat representing the destination. The crown goes to the castle, the top hat goes to the city, and so on and so on. There's definitely a lot of space for improvement here, like what if characters met and chatted on the road, or the guy from the hut robbed the king, but we'll have to leave it here for now and possibly expand in the future. I also figured it would be a good idea to add clouds and a river just to give the game a little bit of spice. The clouds were by far the easier feature to add, just a mesh and a shader with some shadow cast from the sun. Technically, the clouds are finite, a bit like the flat earth theory where the world just ends and you fall off into space, but instead it's just clouds and they stop appearing. The river, on the other hand, was a bit trickier because the original tile set does have rivers but no bridges. So I had to extend the tile set myself. Thankfully, this was not too hard to do despite my limited art skills, and I would say my bridges are nice and good looking. On top of this, I added a spatial river sound effect, so the closer you get to the river, the louder it gets. Like most casual games, there is no strict fail state, and you can keep adding roads as long as you want. But I decided to add a few quests and a quest journal. This way, the player would be able to see what they're missing, or what they could possibly discover. And there you have it, a casual game about tiles and roads. Originally, this game was supposed to be 3D Minesweeper with dice mechanics. That clearly didn't go as planned. The game gradually evolved into placing dice on tiles, and I somehow stumbled into a voxel tile set that would eventually become the game we have today. Feel free to try the game on itch. The game is playable on the browser for free. Link is in the description.